for where we might see integers? Angel?
Your bank account.
Your bank account? All right, and I think I saw at least one other person put money. So let me ask you this, when would you only see a positive, or would you also see like a negative in your bank account?
You can see both.
All right, and when would it be positive?
When you direct deposit it.
When you're depositing? What were you saying, Tom? Oh. When you have money, yeah, when you're like adding money to your account, you're depositing, that would be positive, right? So I'll just add to this. So it's positive if you're making a deposit. And then when might it be negative?
When you withdraw.
When you withdraw. All right, and this, keeping this in mind will actually be really helpful when we get to the process of adding and subtracting integers, because sometimes it's really helpful to just think about it in terms of money. Like, okay, I'm adding this amount to my account, I'm taking this amount away, how much do I have left? Just keeping that in mind will be really, really helpful for understanding the process of adding and subtracting integers. So thank you for that, Angel, and thank you, Zay, for adding to that. Diana, can you tell me what you said? Because I think you weren't sure of it, and then I was like, that's a perfect example, because we don't really think about it, but we definitely hear about it every single day. A thermometer. So thinking about temperature. Thinking about, or do we need to dress warmly? Do we need to dress coldly? Is it going to be -7 degrees outside? Is it going to be 75 degrees outside? So we definitely use integers with talking about thermometer and temperature. Does anybody have any other examples? I probably those were the two examples.
I just wrote something real simple. I just said I saw integers on my fifth grade teacher number line.
Okay, yes, number line. No, that's actually perfect, and I didn't even see that you wrote. I saw that you were writing teacher, and I thought you were talking about talking about me.
Of course you did.
Having different options just helps you think about it a little bit differently. So I'm going to show you each one, and then you can decide for yourself which way makes the most sense to you.
The negative.
Visual.
The cards go by.
And then in terms of money, you can just think about bank account.
Just like.
So if I have $4, you guys said, what would that be if I have +4 in my account? What did I do?
The bridge
Deposit.
is harder.
I deposited $4.
Once you have like this.
So I can just put
You
plus.
wanna push down the middle.
Sometimes literally just writing that $sign
Fingers up.
makes a huge difference for people in understanding what type of number it is.
Anyway.
Yep, and now I'm adding $3 more. So how much money do I have altogether?
Doesn't have to be.
$7.
Once you want it to be.
Positive. Does that make sense?
Before we see what Miss Christina does with her classwork processing, we want to highlight what she's done and also what she'll do in the interim that wasn't captured on film. Before that, we just want to remind ourselves that when we process with students, whether it's writing to learn or through discussion, it involves prioritizing information. Even if we were as efficient as we could possibly be with our words, we've still said more than exactly what they need to hold on to and what they'll logically remember. 2, our job is to build connections between the new information we just provided and the existing schema. That's one of the reasons that activating prior knowledge at the beginning of a class is not the same. Activating prior knowledge gives students an entry point with which to engage a new topic. But when you process, you take the new information and you fit it back into the framework of your mind. It's what allows your mind to grasp and hold on to that information for at least short term and allows you to use it the next day. Prioritizing information is one of the challenges that Miss Christina faces as students process information. But her experience allows her to make a strategic choice. She knows that students are likely to get tripped up on double negatives. She's given them these multiple pathways for success. So she prioritizes the information about avoiding this misstep through slides like these. And this, when she even tries to do a brief exercise before processing that specifically tackles this problem. As you'll see in the upcoming video, what she does for her actual processing exercise is this. She asks students to explain whether or not these expressions are the same. This is strong because it's already prioritizing the information that she wants them to prioritize in their minds, and it's showing the relationship between the concepts. So by having them compare and contrast these two things, she's allowing them to frame it in their mind and put it in their existing network of knowledge. It's a strong example and a best practice.
We haven't done multiplication yet.
So,
That's because we haven't.
I have some pairs of problems, and I just want you to tell me, are they the same? So are they equal or not equal? And then tell me how you know. So for the first problem, you can either put these are equal, they are the same, or you can put they're not equal, they're not the same, and just tell me how you know. Does that make sense? All right.
One of the strongest things about writing to learn is that you have artifacts of students' attempts at understanding. She had them write how they know, as well as the answers to the equations themselves. And whether students do this the right way or not is almost inconsequential. The work tells us a lot, regardless of whether we put high stakes on it or low stakes on it. And the beautiful thing is you can put low stakes on it. Here we see two examples. On the left, the student has merely put the answer is to both. She'll be able to see that he's not yet ready to explain why he thinks what he thinks. Whereas the person on the right has a strong because statement and is at least ready to unpack their own thinking. This allows Ms. Christina to decide who she will start with and who she will use as the main student voices as they explain to their peers what they think and why.
So for number one, what did you guys say for number one? Did you say equal or not equal?
What do I end up?
You said equal? What about you
Positive
say?
number, add equals.
Equal?
I always end
Dan?
up with positive.
Equal. All right, so we all agreed on equal.
A negative
Can
number
somebody
added
explain
to
how you
opposite.
knew that they were
So
equal?
that was actually your mistake problem.
You
The first one's a seven, added to a negative seven.
Okay,
So it's gonna have equal.
and you knew that they were different signs? Okay, so the 8 was what kind of number?
Minus a negative.
Okay, and the 6 you thought about as what kind of
That's
number?
because the subtracting is negative.
So you recognize that this is positive, this is negative,
Positive.
they're different signs, so I'm gonna be subtracting, getting a smaller number. Okay. Did anybody think of it differently? For number one?
Change, and then you have to do the math to see.
You just had the
I just seen the
answer?
answer was the same for both of them.
Okay.
Plus 6.
And when you were figuring out the answer, did you just do it in your head, or did you write it out?
That
Throw it
would
out?
be falling under
You did it in your head?
the first.
Okay. So you kind of just noticed already, just by looking at it, that they were two different signs, and you're subtracting to get the answer. Okay. For number 2,
One that you guys didn't say, the positive number.
what did you guys
Bigger.
say for number 2?
Positive number.
Same.
Larger than the number.
Chris, what did you say?
I said
Not
This rule
equal?
is kind of
Not equal.
same.
All right.
Positive number actually smaller.
So, Diana, can you explain why you think it's equal?
Larger.
At the same time, they both negative, so we got
So then it's just,
different numbers to add.
We can work through these.
Okay.
I would say if you ace these.
Diana and Chris,
then we can check
why did you guys
some
say they're
work
not
out.
equal?
Sometimes like you feel like they overcomplicate it.
Say it again.
Really what you're looking for is just the number.
All right.
And what I'm.
I'll let you think about it and I'll come back to you.
And this is like.
Chris?
both of the answers different.
Both answers are different, so what answer did you get for the first one?
First one, I got 7.
7?
Yeah.
Positive 7?
Imagine you'd be able to knock this out.
Negative 7.
Okay.
6 minutes.
And for the second,
I got
3? All right, so I don't think that you were actually here when we drew examples on the board, but let me draw a number line real quick.
Yeah, use my number.
Thank you for taking the time to watch, and thank you to Miss Christina for allowing us in her space, as well as the time it took to proactively plan for this new strategy that she's using. Thanks always for watching.